Here we go with 3 League Season 4 playoff final in the 8th division. This is how the map draft works for the best of 5. First have a pick, so first pick Lombardia. Lombardia for Scorpison's team. One of the maps I hate the most in the world. Can't believe I let it in, but it's still there. Haboob for Portibals. Then onto the bans. It's kind of interesting actually. Then we get one ban each, so you're not guaranteed necessarily 2 home maps. You'd have to draft cleverly. And Land Nomad out of the question. Chaos Pit as well is off the book. And we're back to the picking with Enclosed for Portupals, Arabia for Scorpison, and now banning the last 2 maps to decide the neutral game 1 map, which will be El Dorado, which I think has, well, it's been played, I just haven't casted it thus far. So first game, El Dorado. You, if I remember correctly, you start with Shorefish underneath your TC, and it's a relatively huge heap of gold in the middle to be contested. So while Frank's is probably more of an Arabia pocket, it comes to mind for El Dorado as well, for middle control with castles. Spanish certainly comes to mind for that kind of map. They're playing on the current balance though, so Spanish could work in many scenarios here. So, but definitely an open land map, so we'll be seeing one of the classic pockets, like maybe even Berbers actually, for a gold-centric map like that. If you control the gold, you'll endlessly spam the Berbers cavalry. Lots of good options here, to be honest. While for Portupals, Hindustan is an early pick. I wonder if that's for the designated first map here. Could be. Not a whole lot of Arvalest civs here, but we do have the Mayans. We have the Dravidians. Poles as an odd-off, Mongols as well. You could easily play flank in team games, and Saracens. Yeah, maybe we have a decent selection. In any case, let's hop into the first game of this playoff on El Dorado. El Dorado. Why is that game 5? So that's supposed to be the first game, El Dorado. Is it something wrong in the order? Okay. Guess we're not starting with El Dorado then. Spoilers! Spoilers! So we're going into a 5-game set here. Well, that's a breach of rules, but maybe there were some issues I don't know about. Let's just go into Lombardia then. It downgraded a bit, small trees, hold on, let's see if we're gonna get the scoreboard as well, but more importantly, yeah. Is it here? Okay, I guess I'll need to restart the game to get the small trees, but that's not a problem. We'll do that for the next one. For now, just bear with me. Actually, you know what? Let's just quickly restart everything. Doesn't take too long. Lombardia and these kind of early wall maps, it's nice to be able to more easily see if there's holes or anything. Try this again. We'll need to set the names in it. Lombardia is the first. What's your team against Scorpion? Okay, it's a CU there, so we're fine. CU Hell versus Portupals. Best of 5. Really league. 54, you wish. Here we go. Lombardia, a slow-ass wall-off horrible map that I never want to play. That's the first one here. Not the biased cast at all, but I'll do my best. It's a close start, so it makes for easier team coordination. That's probably why people like it so much. It's easy to set up trading corners relatively early, because you could just wall between these woodlands here, or do a shorter wall to begin with, and then extend it later, and then you fight to keep the map control, and it's usually a sort of a fast castle unique unit play. That's an interesting gold spawn here. They're just right on top of each other. So that's honestly a beautiful gold pile, but it's also a little bit problematic when sharing it with a teammate when it spawns like that, but I guess it's not a huge issue, not enough to be called a bugged map, I guess. I'm probably going to repeat through this cast many times how much I hate this map, just for the fun of it. But while we're getting started, let's start with Portupals here. The Combat Wombat here with the poles. Got several options, but on a far distance map like this for the poles, I guess it makes sense to wall off, get a little bit of a boom going, get to Slakta privileges and spam those cheap Knights and Cavaliers. Maybe Cavaliers most relevant here. You also have the Obuk from the castle as a countermeasure to enemy Halb's infantry play, or any melee unit really. And should the need arise, the poles have pretty good armrests as well, so they're well a civilization with many options, to be honest. Probably going to be the cavalry on a map like this though. In the pocket we have Ignite Fire with the Magyars. Attack upgrades, melee attack upgrades kicking in instantly once you reach the next stage with the Magyars. So they are pretty much a go-to for cavalry play on a map like this as well. With that said, they also have better than fully upgraded cavalry archers because they have a unique technology applying to cavalry archers as well, the recurve bow. So with all the hills on Lombardia, we might see cavalry archer or a cavalry archer transition here at some point as well from Ignite Fire. It's probably not going to be your opening though. Maybe they want to attempt some feudal age aggression here, but as you can see, the team Waltz starting already feudal aggression with the long distance here usually doesn't have much success. You can't really play your go-to scouts and archers because of unless you go for some forward ranges, which is technically a possibility, I suppose. So they're scouting the front side now to see how they want to wall off. Maybe they'll start out just between the woodlands here to secure the starting base. Actually, it's quite open to the top side here, so maybe there's some hope for feudal age aggression yet. And Obi on Tinder account probably going to play the cavalry archers here because he's with the Tatars. And they have instant thumbbreak. You could play archers into crossbows as well, but they don't get Arbalest. But they have a nice power spike in the cast stage with crossbows regardless of that, because the crossbows get instant thumbbreak. Double berries over here. This is really weird. Lombardia generation, to be honest. Some of the resources spawning, so I haven't really seen that a lot even on this map. That the resources... You could technically mill both of these and just enjoy the good life of a super cluster of berries there. See what's up on the other side, already walling away here. Mad Max with the Spanish. Playing in the... What is this? Pink? Purple? Can never really decide, but he's playing as the player 6 as the Spanish. That smells like conquistadors to me. Nice back stone there. Hard to deny even if Portupals get through here. And of course, should Spanish need to switch away from the unique unit at some point, they also have the fully upgraded paladins, and their blacksmith upgrades not only cost only food, unless that's changed, And they also get gold returns per research is made. So that's going to be with the recent patch. So that's going to be interesting to follow as the game goes on here for the Spanish. Maybe Spanish are top tier still now, huh? In the pocket we have Matthias KF as the Cumans. I was going to say he might go up early. Oh, he's milling the boars actually. Might go up early for a second feudal town center here, but looks like he has other plans. At 22 pop and counting here, it could be just a regular fast castle with the Cumans, which would still be decent because you have cheaper stables and you'll have an easier time amassing from several stables. But generally speaking, on a semi-closed map like this, the Cumans would definitely benefit from getting the second feudal town center up and kickstart the boom earlier on. Oh, they're going greedy here. They're going all the way to the edge of the map. Not worrying too much about the forward scout of Portupals here. Maybe don't need to either have their own scout too. They have their own scout to help out there. Feudal Age early on for Portupals here though. All the more reason for CU and Hell to get the walls up here nice and quickly, because then the planned Feudal Age aggression here won't really lead anywhere for Portupals. Uh-oh. Will you do the house trick? Will you do the house trick? Will the builder survive? Send the builder over! No, he's down. He's totally down. Walls getting slightly denied here as well, but there's a scout here for Scorpion with the Berbers to keep the aggression at Berbers, the last civilization if we're receiving the maybe cavalry archers and or cheap cavalry spam in the castle age. Definitely something that could work out for the Berbers here on this map. They are going to attempt the fast castle age approach here. It's a rather early one for Scorpius on there. Still not too far off the resources needed. It's going to be a 25 pop castle age by the looks of it, if the resources are on point here. And we have complete walls. Keep snoring at that. Speed running the ages like that. That actually looked like a hole, but not quite the case. Also walling off at home base here. CU in Hell, they have no army whatsoever, so if Portupals break through, CU in Hell are in deep shit, to use a rather common phrase. Poles with a stable as well. We have double scouts at least. Are we going to see triple scouts here? Because we also have a cavalry pocket from the Magyars, but it looks like it's going to be more of a castle age approach here for Ignite Fire. Did lose one villager. No, also dropping the stable actually, but that could just be the second building as well if there's a blacksmith here somewhere. Not quite. Resources definitely there. Could be that we're going to see triple scouts here, and that would at the very least force CU in Hell to react here. It is the second feudal age TC here. Only 6 villagers building it. Which is a bit of a concern because it builds rather slowly, that second TC, but it's going to complete eventually and allow Matthias KF to produce villagers out of 2 town centers compared to the others. But with the... I guess Portupals are not going castle age anytime soon, so yeah, it's going to give the Cumans some head start to the boom still. Ryder is here. Good evening, or good day, I don't know what your time zone is really. No need to rush the wall for Portupals, really. They are the aggressors here. They're trying to punch through the weak spots like the houses over here. What's that? That's the poles, not the Magyars. Magyars with the +1 attack would break through faster. I like the outfit. What do you mean? What do you mean? Thanks, though. Triple scouts from Portupals here. Can it work out for them? Stonewall's going up here even more. from CU and Hill, but they're doing the right thing. They're just walling off and protecting their economies. They're going to set up for a nice Castle Age push. Oh, stop it, you. Thanks. Appreciate that. This is never going to break through, or not going to break through anytime soon. There's a weak spot over here if they deal with the spearman here. At the very least, CUNL will have to invest into more spears, but they now have their second player on the way to the Castle Age. That means that the Spanish player will be able to pump out some Conquistadors, and Portupals, they still have a while to go until they can click the Castle Age, with Obi-Wan's in their account being the closest here. Yeah, wasting some scouts to the spearmen there. I guess CU and Hill are doing quite well for now. One tiny issue for them is that the Cumans player can't really stone wall, so you have to rely on your teammates to make stone walls to really secure up your home space. But with the Castle Age in for the Berbers, Scorpison is with 4 knights already, very low on food and gold here, as you can see, barely even queuing builders, but maybe 4 knights and the starting scout is... Oh, there's an opening! Even worse. But yeah, maybe 4 knights is enough to do significant damage here, because there's nobody on Portupals in the Castle Age just yet. See, they haven't even they've only been walling this game and turtling it out. They haven't even scouted the opponent side. I hate this map. Okay. And now, good spot of Obi-Wan there, sees the opening. So that gets plugged, still open to the far left side, but the knights won't be able to get over here in time to deal with this. They'll have to try and punch their way through instead. Not really queuing any more knights here for the time being. So Portupals should be able to keep this aggression out, and having opened with the scouts, they are set with a very healthy farming and folwark economy at home here. Oh, completely matching in economy as well to the opposing side. Oh, but the knights are through! So, economy advantage is about to be lost now. Should probably consider leaving 1 knight behind here to make sure it won't get completely... yeah, so it won't be closed up here again. Looks like Scorpison wants to leave this one back. Is there a best tip for 4v4 and 3v3? I think it depends on who you ask, really. I haven't played enough on the new patch to make up my mind on anything, but Franks and Mayans are still good. And Hindustan is a fantastic all-rounder as well. It's definitely some good options. And it depends on how you position yourself in the team as well, if you prefer pocket or flank play. Also has been nerfed a little bit, but they're still good as well. They could play both flank and pocket, so maybe they are a good pick. Two rangers and cavalry archers at work here for Obi-Wan. Could shake things up a bit, as there's only +1 defense for the red player. Hello, Jimares. Castle going up for the poles as well. Probably for the unique technology here first and foremost. Only 1 stable for now, but will want to get that unique tech. Should be able to, especially if there's a market to trade some of that food for gold. So these knights, they haven't been doing too much, but they've killed 5 units. Didn't kill any economy units though, so Portupals. They are admittedly behind because the economy extension at home base for CU in Hell is just much larger, and we've had that Cuman's feudal age boom pumping away, so I guess CU in Hell, even without any eco kills with these raids, are still in a great spot here to deal with Portupals. Market's going up. Not really any need to rush that yet, I think. There's plenty of gold to be mined. It's a bit too early to be thinking about trade. Those knights were able to buy so much time already for us, yeah. I mean, the initial aggression on Portupals didn't do anything either, so great spot for CU in Hell, but they've really established a massive economic lead here now. No vision inside CU in Hell's base for Portupals. They never got in. And there are stone walls basically almost all over the place now, but there's double layers here as well, so that should keep things away. Already started trade. Again, I think it's way too early for that. I mean, there's so much gold to be mined. I mean, it's a nice extra income, but it's you don't need it at this stage in the game, I think. Knights for the humans. Just a few knights for the Berbers as well. Could be that Scorpion wants to switch into the unique unit instead and let the humans player handle the cavalry. As Townsetters start popping up for Portupals as well, but they are now about 50 villagers behind. Granted, they have a military numbers advantage here, but they won't be able to do much unless they break through here. That's the weakest spot on CU and Health side, and with the cavalry archers it's going to be harder to re-evolve behind, but I guess you just pull these villagers further back and just plop up a few stone walls here and you're still fine. University for Obion wants to get that ballistics for the cavalry archers as well. Bodkin is in, Thundering obviously, because that doesn't even need to be researched for the Tatars. It's light cav for the time being for the Vanguards, maybe a bit low on gold. So opting for some light cav extension instead. I mean, as long as you field the military, I'm on board with that. They could still make a difference as well. We have the Poles Knights, of course. Let's have a quick look actually to see if the Schlachta is already in for the Poles. I didn't catch whether it was researched, but it was indeed. So the Poles Knights now 60, unless they changed that in a new patch, 60% cheaper gold-wise. I don't think that got changed. I think the Poles Bulwark economy got tweaked a little bit. So Portupals creeping up the map, back up the map now. They're assuming middle control kind of. Put a couple of stables up to the side as well. That's the Walling villager building those. So triple stables producing units. No sign of any aggression just yet though. They need to make things happen here. They need to try and get the forward castle up or something to push through the walls and do some proper damage here. We might even be closing in on the Imperial Age here for some of these players. See you in hell with the Spanish. No castle, surprisingly enough, just booming. And we have the Spanish trade, so that helps out as well. For the eventual late trade, Monk might get a conversion here. Camel mixed in, only one though, maybe it was a misclick. Cavalry archers could probably deal with the Monk here. +2 is in for the Knights. So the Tatars cavalry archers, unless they are on the hill, won't be doing too much here. Oh, just casually strolling in there and the knight just passing. No! No, not like this. Not like this. Is this a forward castle or something? What's the plan here? Yeah, lots of stone here for a castle for the humans. Only 5 builders though, so that should be easily stopped by the Poles if you spot it. But now they passed next to here, and I'm not sure if Portupals have any idea what's going on here. They're too preoccupied with the aggression forward here. Castle near the edge of the map for the humans. Sneak castle in the back here, just casually passing through the opening there. Maybe they knew that there was an opening there. Maybe just got lucky. Maybe the plan was actually to place the castle here and then break through the palisades and potential stone walls. But why break through when it's already open? That's a new one. Castle in the middle for the Tatars as well. And a big fight now. Camel archers for the Berbers. Cumans with knights here as well. Better upgrades than the Poles Knights here, but the Poles has the numbers. Corvinian army coming for the Magyar, so that is going to allow Ignite Fire to train Magyar Hussars out of stables, so might mix in some Magyar Hussars there against any enemy siege weapons, could be handy. Castle goes up, now some Cuban stables as well, and right next to the castle, so you don't just take out these stables, there's lots of stables! 6 stables for Matthias here, and does Teal even know what's going on here? Hasn't really seen it. So this could be a huge problem for Portupals. Constant raids from the Cumans player over here, and yeah, more stables going up. Casting completing on the hill here, so there's some forward middle map presence for Portupals. Military situation dead even, however, and Tatars could take the hill here for more favorable fights. Berber's Cavalry Archer is actually a perfect counter to Cavalry Archer play from the Magyars and the Tatars here, so good call to go straight for the Cavalry Archers for Scorpison. Second castle! Why though? But why not? We have Imperial Age on the way, could start pushing the Trebs out of 2 castles here for the yellow player, as whooping 7 forward stables are at work here, and by now Portupals must be seeing this. I'm wondering what to do about that. Might need to call the armies back home, as another Cuban's castle goes up at home as well here. See you in hell, not really touched at home, they had got their trade running as well. What's the trade situation here? Decent enough, I guess. Still hiding away the knights here, see you in hell, but now with the second castle up. There's not noticing here for the combat wombat. We'll need to do something about this forward situation, as units are streaming out of all the stables. Borderline overboom here from Matthias. Has both trade and villagers working here, so not really that much space for army. Maybe you'd consider deleting some villagers to make more space for military here. See you in hell, however. 105 military to 71, they have a military momentum, and now raiding with a good mix of everything here. Kipchaks, Knights, Light Cav, and another forward castle going up here. Triple forward castle for the Cumans. Not really denying much, but allowing for continued Kipchak production. And with Kipchaks you also can't wall behind easily. No upgrades for the Kipchaks though. They're just dancing around being annoying here. While at home base the castles are going up near the walls as well. Fortified wall is in. There's not going to be any raiding, see you in health side here. Looks like the 2 builders completing this forward castle will get that sorted as well. Magyar Hussars now free Night Fire. I'm not sure how much they will contribute in this fight here, but they sure are cheaper than for example Knights. And I said wrong, it's not that they are being made from stables, but you can make them from the castle at no gold cost with the Corvinian army. That's the benefit of that tech. Poles, cavalry numbers outmatching the Cubans here. It's like 45 knights, and they're all at home base now. Maybe they'll still be able to deal with this forward Cubans push here. It's still open over here as the combat wombat claims the hills with some Poles castles over here. Poles will usually have stone for castles because they generate gold through stone mining as well. Oh, there's something going on over here. The outside town centers are being punished by Mad Max here, where the Spanish didn't really go for any conquistadors at all here, just went straight for the cavalry line units and also some janitors mixed in, as is allowed by having a Berber's teammate. Cavalry archers matching the Tatars cavalry archers numbers almost here, but there's plenty of cavalier, maybe soon to be paladin here for Mad Max to keep up here. 100 more population for See You in Hell. Cubans player just plain annoying here with the Kipchaks And cavalry units here, lots of stables. Going to be a never-ending annoyance at home base for Portipals. At this point, CUNL could extend their trade route to the edges for better outcome for the trade if they want to, but then again, there's still plenty of water to be mined here. Sounded like some builders were deleted there to make room for more military as well. Good move. To be fair, we have a 81 bolts cavaliers here as well, so they might still be able to withstand the armies for a while, but we have paladins coming in for both yellow and purple here, which means that we'll have probably about as many paladins as the bolt player as cavalier, and that's not going to end well for the cavaliers. Yeah, army, I can't say domination just yet, but eco-domination definitely for CUNL. They're essentially over-booming here, especially yellow, but it doesn't really matter when they are able to keep the army lead as well. They're definitely doing great here in that regard. Poles are never going to get past cavaliers here, and the camel archers are getting free hits in as well. I guess it's still too early to call it, as the quite the trap is down actually. 4 castles now procurements inside of the enemy base. Going to produce some more trebuchets here to push. Looks like that there was a unique technology being researched here. It could have been, what was that actually? Step husbandry. Yeah, so it's Cuban mercenaries actually. So now CUNL can also produce keeptracks out of their castles. So the burghers player, for example, with 3 castles can produce 5 free elite keeptracks out of each castle. It applies to the Cuban player as well, and with 5 castles that's 25 free elite keeptracks as far as I know. So that certainly helps the production quite a bit as well. Spanish paladins doing work here. Look at the eco kills. Matias didn't lose a single villager all game. Scorpison has actually lost a few. Maybe there's been some small trade raids here or something, or a failed forward castle. But overall, the game is for CUNL to lose here. They have complete control over the map at this point, and they're not going to let go of their push here as more elite keeptracks are being made. Still lacking quite a bit of upgrades for them. Only fletching for now. So we'll need Vodkin Arrow for them to really be properly useful here. But pushing the trebuchets from the hill, that's going to be make a quick end to the base of Portipals. Attempting to manifest the position in the middle here, going into elite skirmisher as well. Could be some gold issues here for... No, it's not gold issues at all. They have so much gold in the bank. So never mind, but they realized that this is endgame. GG is called, and CUNL take the first game. So let us browse through the statistics here for a bit, and we'll dive into the next game shortly. That's the benefit of casting from recorded games. Should have played this at full speed the whole way since it's Lombardia, but I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. That sneak was beautiful, at least. But man, I hate this map. I'm going to rig it out of any tournament for now that I host. KD very much on the positive side here. Poles losing lots of units, but their cavalier are basically trash cavalier, so that doesn't matter all that much. Maybe, I mean, looking at the resources, their resources in the Imperial Age, you're allowed this thing, right? So maybe you could have shared some. I guess it wouldn't have made a difference. But if anyone was low on gold, you could trade resources in between yourselves. Seems like CUNL were overall earlier to the Imperial Age as well. And yeah, better economy. That's just for the overview of things. Show Lombardia, which was supposed to be El Dorado. Remember that for some other time. That is intended to be the first map. Starting with the home map. That's why we have a neutral starting map, you know, so that people don't start with the home map. And who did we have winning? We had the Cumans winning, we had the Berbers winning, and the last one was the Spanish, wasn't it? Where are you? There we are. Up against the Tatars, well, Magyars as well. Poles and Tatars. Going to either Habub or Enclosed now from Portipals. So let's see what they have in store for us. Let's just move on. Let us move on. Habub coming up. Guess I'll have to keep an eye out on the early game for some potential laming action. Right. This is Habub. It's a pretty close start in many ways. You could wall yourself out and force the aggression to go around. So you'll often see some early walls, but if your berries spawn like this, you're in a bit of a pickle. You'd have to wall even further out in that case. And as you can see, the elephants are exposed as well. Obeon's Cinder account might just be... No, it's just scouting. Could have actually lamed that nice and early with the distance between the players here. Let's have a look at the other side as well. If there's... Yeah, it's maybe a little bit far away, but technically you could attempt to lame that as well. But this one is dangerously close to the opponent, in my opinion. You could even send a builder over to lane that one, to be honest. If you are in a dirty laming mood, that is. So I'll look at the civilizations here. Obi-Wan's Tinder account with the Celts flank. Not the most common flank civilization, but they have amazing siege. The siege weapons fire faster. And they collect wood faster as well, which further fortifies their siege situation. In the latest patch, infantry has been somewhat buffed as well. Don't remember off the top of my head if Celts get Gambison or Gambisons or however we call that, but if they do, they could have a strong longsword push in the Castle Age as well to fortify their siege, perhaps. Ooh, Blue Scout moving forward now. Could lame this Rhino if he finds them. Let's have a look. No, just scouting the gold for now. Oh, no. Yes, no. No, I guess not. In the pocket for Portupals, we have Ignite 5 with the Persians. Faster working town centers and docks. Docks are not to be considered in this map. There's no water. But 10, 15 and 20% faster town centers gives the Persians a nice boom on land maps, regardless of that. Great cavalry. They have bonus... they have a bonus attack against archers line units as well. So that's something to keep in mind. So yeah, basically mounted skirmishers for the Persians. In the flank side here, we have the combat wombats with the Ethiopians here. Another strong flag civilization. And faster firing archers. 100 food, 100 gold granted once you reach the next stage. Always going to come in handy if you're, especially if you're opening some kind of infantry style situation, but regardless of that, you are looking at the strong, fast-firing archers flank civilization, which will trade well against most other archer civilizations, maybe saved for the except for the... Sorry for the disconnect there. I hope it's better now. So yeah, Ethiopians trading well against most Archer civilizations, maybe except for the Britons that have the extra range. Okay, here we have the walling action. Pretty ambitious early walling here. Could potentially be delayed. Ooh, really going... Oh, but you can't wall on this terrain. This feels like a misplay from Matthias KF here. Although it will give him a heads up if any units try to pass through. Could also be that he wants to get the full circle here, which is doable to secure all the golds long term. But this is a huge wood investment early on here for the Sicilians. Sicilians flank from Matthias KF. They technically have arbalets, but more commonly seen is the Hauberg Cavalier or even First Crusade for the Sicilians. They're even classified more like an infantry civilization, aren't they? And they have the donjons, so they could do donjon rush. Donjons now also replace the, or allows a, works as a prerequisite building for archery ranges and stables, and you are able to produce spearmen out of them. Pocket Incas for Mad Max here. I have no idea what the idea about that is. I mean, it's a close spawn, so maybe it doesn't matter all that much, but we don't see Metal Civs in pockets a lot. Because they don't have cavalry, they'll have to rely on the eagles for mobility and raiding. Looks like we have the beginnings of a team wall here as well. Interesting pocket choice. I guess Kamuyuks will come in handy against the Persians cavalry. Or eagles against the archers, but what about the Celts? Eagles eat siege relatively quickly as well. And finally we have Scorpions on with the Koreans. On the right side flank here, probably going to play the archers as well. Koreans get instant defense upgrade for the archers line units. And from Obi-Wan's Tinder account side, we have some infantry moving out. The militia, aka Angry Housewives, on my channel. Oops. Are on the move, and they being Celts, they also move faster, so. But they don't attack faster, though. That's the Japanese bonus. Second, the Rhino not yet taken by Mad Max here, but Combat Wombats Scout also trapped here inside of green space, going to lose that one, so that most likely. So that's going to be an issue for the purple player. Will be able to scout what's going on around here. The best point to hit here, in my opinion, isn't the palisade walls, but the palisade gate. At least it's forcing a reaction. That's 4 villagers off the Incas that's working. Oh, they're through! Ay, ay, ay! Did we get them early? No? Alright. Arms successful after all here for Celts, now hitting the pocket of all things, and weak villager. No, don't go back out! Don't allow. Why? There we go. Good block with the scout. Learning from the big boys pros here. That's going to be one villager down for sure. Mad Max bringing the town bell there, not taking any chances. That's a very weak villager taking the hunt over here as well, but that's not going to be any problem here. Ignite Fire now joining in with the scouts, has opened the scouts with the Persians here, while topside there is a donjon rush in action here from Matthias KF. That's a donjon hitting nothing. And the Ethiopians outpost, they also have extra range, so this isn't exactly hidden aggression from Matthias, even if he would have wanted it to be. They're hesitant to engage against the Incas here. Maybe they want to hit the Koreans player instead, as more outposts go up here for continued division. Why move out again though? The Minotaurs still at full HP. Why? Where are they going? Why are you giving up? Maybe going to send them over to help on Matthias' side, but he's going to be fine for now. You could also use villagers to take out donjons, just like you would a watchtower, at least until they get a decent amount of sergeants out. Yeah, scouts moving over here, that's nice. First few archers out for the Celts player as well, and forcing Scorpions into skirmisher defense here. Nice. Archers helping save the poor woman from the wildlife as well. While Mad Max has understandably gone into spearman defense here, but that's not going to work well when there are ranged units at work. Over here, excuse me. As another donjon pops out from a TSKF, he could keep queuing sergeants and use the sergeants to build new donjons, but as of now, the donjons aren't doing anything for the citizens yet. It's not denying anything, it's barely even denying the base. Combat room, but did force a defensive tower up here, but this is a decent defensive tower. It makes it harder for Grey to move in here. So Portipals on their first home map seem to be on top of things here. They're now going to push into Grey's base to force Grey to react at home base here as well. Is heavy on the stone, so able to get a defensive donjon up here, even a stable, because you don't need the barracks if you have the donjon. Actually, yeah, okay, maybe Matthias doesn't know that, but the donjon acts like a barracks in the sense that you could produce spearmen out of it, and you could also it also counts like the building needed to unlock stables and ranges. Archers looping around there. Will they find the other gold? They found the other gold. That is good reaction by Grey here as well to pull away from whatever's happening over here. And not risk losing villagers on the gold. And the combat wombat will either move on to try and hit the Incas again instead and just loop around, or try to find out where Grey is taking stone to delay that stone income and make sure more donjons can't really go up. Scouts doing work over here as well for yellow. Can't camp underneath that one easily since they're within range of each other, but does deny that third donjon. That would be denying some farming economy here. 16 farms now for purple means that Castlage shouldn't be too far off, and archers picking off villagers big time at gold, no stone here. That is how many kills for the archers by now? That's 3 eco kills. They'll comfortably deal with the scouts as well, because the scouts don't have any defense or upgrades or anything. And now Scorpion is all the way over here with the archers and skirmishers. We just hit the Castlage, now TC on the gold to secure that from the archers, men-at-arms aggression here. Men-at-arms still alive from the early pressure. He didn't do all that much. They got 1 unit kill, but they are working effectively as a meat shield here against the ranged units. So that's also a positive for red here to be able to keep the archers and a few skirmishers alive. Just trying to break back out, maybe find the weak spot on the Inca side, but there are stone walls behind here now. Green should be fine from the middle section at least. With this aggression though, Portupals establishing sort of an equal lead here. With that said, we have 2 players in the Castlage for CU Intel, so as they get more town centers up, like Scorpion already has, if the villager production is on point, you'll be able to get back on that economic situation, because Portupals just kick the Castlage here. They'll actually not be able to queue villagers at all while the Castlage is researching. Has there been enough damage done? 36, military to 23. Crossbow dying for Scorpion, which means it's even more important. No, don't go back into the crossbows and skirmishers, wasting the archers here for the Ethiopians. That is unfortunate, as another donjon has gone up on gold as well, which means that Matthias won't be able to afford any Sicilian's castle anytime soon, which is good news for Portupals. Crossbow out on the move for Scorpion over here as well, but a well-placed tower on the gold for Obi-Wan here is going to make it hard for Scorpion to do damage from this angle. Maybe we should just loop around instead and break through the weak spot of the Palisade Gate over here. Triple range archers for the Ethiopians now. Castle Age on the way. All of Portugal's to be in the Castle Age soon, while Sicilians still forever feudal age here, but looks a bit lacking about 300 food to go to the next stage. Could buy it actually, has gold in the bank. And a market, so that's an option. So Portugals can't be too passive here now. They need to engage against armies and try to get some proper kills in here. Just 3 Persian knights here, 2, maybe even 2. With the +1 defense here should be enough. Definitely should send the knights over. The knights of the Persians have bonus damage against ranged units. As you can see, archery says here for the attack damage. Honestly, needlessly losing builders here and trying to force this tower up for Ignite Fire, as the first few knights could, with their bonus damage, could clean up this little army of crossbows, no problem. Stonewall Suicide, again, it doesn't really make sense because you can't build on this terrain. So it's really just forcing the... I mean, eventually they're probably going to make a full circle wall here. It's possible, it's just a long-term project. Mangonel defense for Scorpius on now. Shouldn't really be an issue for the Obi-Wan, considering that the Celt Siege is superior to most other civilization siege, except maybe in the Imperial Age when Koreans get siege onlookers with the unique technology applying to them. Decent castle at home here for the Ethiopians as well, going to clean up these dungeons. Excuse me, and be rid of that annoyance that is the dungeons forward. Healthy chunk of Ethiopians crossbows here, going to run right into Scorpion's armies perhaps. But we also have, I was going to say we have the Eagle switch here for Mad Max, but it's not the case. It's full-on skirmishes for now. That's a concern because Ignite Fire has the Persians and has the cavalry out, so the skirmishers won't be doing too much when there are knights on the field like this. They don't have +2 yet. Supplies coming in for Obion, so we might see some infantry shenanigans here. 2 barracks now to pump out infantry units. Trying to focus down the crossbows here with the spearmen are getting 3 hits in here. Need to focus the spearmen if this is going to work. Cleans up the crossbows though, arguably a decent fight there for yellow. However, purple is going in right into skirmisher fire there, something that the knights could easily have dealt with here. Crossbows doing great work at idling Matthias here. Now in the castle edge with only 20 villagers. See you in hell massively behind now. 40 villagers behind. Yes, it's 3 town centers for Scorpius on Mad Max, but they can't only focus on the economy either. They need to provide army to keep up with Portugals here, which currently have twice the ability of See you in hell and seem in good control of the game here. So the Celt Siege has been added as well. Right, 2 mangonels getting great value there for Scorpion. Getting a nice hit in while the player in question was caught off guard. We have the longswords out now and then move past her being the Celt, so they deal with the mangonels here just fine. Scorpion getting some hits in on the crossbows as well, weakening those, and Obi-Wan with the cleaning up the mangonels in a good spot here to push back. That's a lot of staples for the Koreans. Why is the Koreans player making multiple stables here? What's the play here? Koreans are not famous for their cavalry. They might have some of the worst cavalry in the game. Besides, the Persian player already has 12 knights out, so what's Koreans cavalry going to... How is Koreans cavalry going to make a difference here? Maybe it's a reaction to the siege infantry play, I don't know. But I would argue it's not a good reaction, it's more of a panic move. And top side Scorpius is being pressured as well. Looks like Combat Wombat is going to punch through here quickly. More outposts going up for some more vision as well, to get some idea of what's going on at the other side of the walls. But the big fight is down south here. Persian Knights cleaning up, understandably so, the Koreans cavalry. They're nearly fully upgraded by now. And skirmishers, of course, going to be run down by the knights and maybe even the longswords here. Any more longswords in queue? Yeah, one barracks producing longswords, 3 town centers producing villagers as well. Still keeping that 50 or so, 60 villagers lead for Portupals, and now they have 3 times the ability of Seagreen Hell. And got some massive momentum going on here. They're pounding away on poor Scorpius on there. It's basically a... It's not quite a 3 vs 1, more of a 2 vs 1 situation, but... Combat Wombat seems to be everywhere as well. Forcing some panic reactions of Scorpius on over here. More villagers gonna go down. There's no need to worry about the Sicilians for a while yet, except for maybe First Crusade if enough town centers get up here and the castle. But speaking of castles, we need stone for that. Only 3 villagers on stone and 95 stone in the bank, so not going to see any Sicilians castle soon either. The Eagles are out for the Incas, but that shouldn't be of any concern because Ignite Fire has about the same amount of knights as Mad Max has Incas Eagles here. So even though Incas have some bonus damage against cavalry, it's not going to cut it here. It's not going to be enough. Castle in the middle area. Is this a War Elephant game? Are we going to see a couple of War Elephants here from Ignite Fire? That would be epic, but they would also melt completely to the Incas unique unit, so... unlikely. Would still be cool to see though. Looks like they want to close off the area with stone walls in the middle as well. Good initiative there. You could definitely control the middle that way. Stables for the Persians in the middle as well. And now Imperial Age on the way for the Celts, which would allow for Celts, trebuchets, siege ramps. They both fire faster, being siege weapons. And yeah, cool little infantry siege push here against the Koreans, but it's been working. 8 Scorpions as well, ready to engage at any time. Maybe we'll see heavy Scorpion this game. It's become a little bit cheaper after the recent patches. Post-rushing MBL style. Look at the placement between them as well, giving perfect overlap here for as much map vision as possible. I like that. Lets you know in advance if any raids are coming your way. If you have the stone and wood and villagers to spare, why not? Now, Persians well on the way to the Imperial Age as well. Should be good. And have access to Cavalier and plate guarding armor and Paladin, possibly. Heavy Camel if you'd like to. I'm still puzzled as to the Koreans' cavalry choice here, but it's probably because the Sicilians are so far behind. That's probably why. Sicilians so far behind can't really provide any armies just yet, and to have some mobility to at least get some raids in, plus 2 defense coming in as well. Out the woodlines, okay, decent raiding damage here from Scorpion, but the overall villager situation is well ahead of Portugal, so even if villagers go down here, it's not going to be any big deal for red. Five town centers total for the Incas now. Eagles not really doing any work. Slingers probably a reaction to the longswords play of the Celts, but they are way out of position here now. Huge massive army for the Celts to engage here. Looks like it's preparing a siege ram push. Cap ram, is it on the way? Imperial Age is in. Cavalier for the Persians, no surprise there, as another forward castle is up and will allow for trebuchets production from this angle as well to quickly break through to the Incas or Sicilian side. What's the scouting of Portupals over this side? I haven't really found too much of the reboom to the side there, so that could backfire if it's not if they don't pay any attention to that. Yep. Either they don't realize that they can't wall this area, or it's just a means to at least funnel the aggression to one specific spot. I mean, if you get a castle or two up in this area, it's going to be hard to comfortably pass through there anyway. But yeah, Congradians Cavalry going to come to an end here. Imperial Age on the way for Scorpion as well. Has two castles up. He's preparing that War Wagons situation, but now decent chunk of Cap Ram out for Obi-Wan's Tinder account. Not quite with the resources yet to get Siege Ram, but Cap Rams are certainly decent enough here. Pity didn't garrison the infantry inside of them as well for them to move faster. But it's a huge chunk of Scorpions here, assuming the Mangals don't get any lucky shots in here. The Scorpions will be doing work. A little bit of Knights here from Scorpions as well, shouldn't be too much of an issue. Good Mangalan defense there from Scorpion, as a middle castle gets deleted and moved closer to the opposing side. How many arbs? 62 arbs for the Ecobians, that's deadly as well. And the Celt Scorpions doing work here. This has to be Portupal's game. They're pushing really hard now, and they've I guess Matthias has stabilized quite a bit here. Even hell, they are about to match Portupals in the economy now, but there's way behind in military still. And with the chunks of Scorpions here from red behind the infantry here, it's going to be tough to engage even with Arbalists here. Some cavalry units popping out, but Road Raiders from the castle to counter that. The Koreans, they don't have bloodlines, they are the cavalry strategists. Besides, if they got bloodlines, that would benefit the war wagons as well, and that would be ridiculous. So glad they don't get that. Incas castle about to go down means no Kamyuks for Mad Max. So can't deal with the Persians, soon to be paladins with Kamyuks here. Trebuchet is going to take out these siege workshops quickly enough as well. And unfortunately, after the castle goes down, this is a perfect choke point for the Arbalists of Combat Wombat to fall back as well. The Eagles far from a critical mass, and besides they're still in the castle age, so Mad Max is not going to be able to do much with the Eagles here, as Paladin is in for the Persians as well, going to eat those town centers and especially the skirmishers, no problem. And once the skirmishers are out of the picture, the Arbalists can roam around and freely raid here as well. Yeah, this should be a quick death of Mad Max here, going to go from 72 villagers to 20 in no time here if this pressure keeps up. 107 villagers for the Sicilians, but it's not going to help them. They have two players in the castle age, while Portupals are all in the Imperial Age. An impressive performance on the first home map here for Portupals, which will lead us to the home map of See You in Hell. Not sure why Mad Max is still playing. Maybe the famous one last fight. There we go. So we're up to 1-1, and it's best of 5. Military domination in the end there for Portupals. The villager count was catching up for See You in Hell, but you still need military to keep your economy safe. So, yeah, not allowed to come back there. It took the Sicilians a little bit too long to get back into the game, I suppose. Ooh, stronghold for the castles to heal up the infantry around the castles. I like that from Obi-Wan as well. So there was a long-term plan for the Celts infantry push, after all, behind all that. More convincing economies all over. Portupals didn't really take any huge losses, lost some villagers at some point, but nothing of consequence compared to the other team. So back to the... I guess let's give them the home map first. And we'll show the Incas, Koreans and Sicilians losing that one on Habub, while we had the victorious Celts, Ethiopians and Persians. Leads us to Arabia next, most likely. So let's have a look at the save stat, what we're going to see for Arabia. Slav's pocket could be interesting, but it has to be Franks. Possibly Plan B Burgundians here. Enclosed Arabia, Eldorado. No, this has to be Franks. It's the OG pocket civilization. Hindustanis would counter that nicely as the first pick of Portupals, but first pick, would they pick first pick for the opponent's home map? Probably not, but Hindustanis, Mayans, Chinese comes to mind as flank civilizations here. Even Saracens could work as well. Just a moment, just reading a message here. Right, yes. So Franks, Vietnamese, possibly Japanese flag, but Vikings more likely with the economy. So let's say Franks, Vietnamese, Vikings just for the fun of it, and Hindustanis, Mayans, and Chinese for the other team. And let's see if I was completely off here or not. Getting there. It's not Arabia at all, it's enclosed first. But it's true, it was asked a while ago if you could pick your opponent's home map, and you can pick your opponent's home map, so it looks like we're going to enclose them. Right, enclosed this fairly aggressive map, I would say, because you have to control the map in order to safely take the resources like the berries and golds here. Now, actually with the berries in mind, I've seen Franks being picked around here. But it's not the case for this one. Let's have a look at Portipal's side. We have the combat wombat as the Hunt's flank. Would have made a lot more sense as a pocket civilization, but who am I to argue? Oh ho ho ho! We be laming here, are we? Jackpot. 7 buffaloes and counting this spot. Oh, are you gonna see them? Oh, you're one tile away! You're one tile. Oh, come on! Come on! Oh, so close. Neither of them have found them. Combat wombat too busy pushing the deer here. So the hunting player did lose 2 buffaloes there, I think. Maybe not the biggest of deals, as you have elephants anyway, they carry a lot of food. But whoever finds those 2 buffaloes first are going to be very happy.
Yes.
Hold on, let me see if I can fix this sound situation as well. Let me just do... How does it work if I... This should be alright. Yeah, found the buffaloes. Crisis averted. But did they mix up positions here or something? We have Hunt's flank and Mayan's pocket. Has to be a mistake. But I guess what is done is done. And they didn't ask or didn't get the re for a mistake like that. So they have to play it like that. Could be a reason behind it, but I don't see what that should be. Could also have the Huns be annoying with their never need to build houses on the flank and just keep the aggression up and buy the mines time to get to the castle stage and get to either eagles or a castle for the bloomed archers. That could be the play here, but it's strange to see the mines in pocket. Right hand side we have Obi-Wan's Tinder account with the Saracens here. Some house foundations going up as like a preemptive wall here. And yeah, Saracens break through buildings more quickly and goes for the mines as well now, or any ranged foot archer will have bonus damage against buildings having Saracens on the team. Scouts fight here, looks like Red got the first hit in, so Combat Wombat can't really win that one unless a hill can be found to take some elevation advantage. We have Japanese for Scorpion, by the way. Might have some men-at-arms towers shenanigans in mind here, though hard to pull off when the stone is so exposed as it is. Not impossible, you just have to walk a little bit farther to get to the stone access. Barracks going up, could be a rush as well with this barracks timing. Not playing to the Japanese strengths doing that, but if the men-at-arms, then they will be doing, will be attacking faster and doing more damage that way. Going for the second building here, the mill. Mad Max with the Burgundians is probably to get the early eco upgrades in as well. Don't really need that mill yet, given that there are 2 elephants here to be eaten, but also nice to have the second building up when you can anyway, both for, in the case of Burgundians, for the eco upgrades and for the fact that you need 2 Dark Age buildings to get to the Feudal Age. Finally, on the right hand side here we have Teuton's flank for Matthias KF. That also smells like towers to me, or men-at-arms towers, like an infantry play into towers, but we'll see how the game progresses here. What the plan is. Teutons have amazing melee units overall, because they get +1 melee defense in the cast stage and another +1 to stack on top of that in the Imperial Age. Also their towers and town centers garrison more units. Town center can garrison 25, as you can see, while regular town centers can only garrison 15. And as for the towers, the Teutons can garrison 10 villagers and get more damage output, and will usually, in most cases, win tower wars because of that. But Wombat spots the barracks here. Does not see a flag, so there's no infantry units produced quite yet. Well, I guess that's the end of the scout of the Japanese player. Straight with Portugal here. Is it a straight archers play then from Scorpison? No infantry produced at all. I guess the food would allow for it, but the wood count also suggesting a double range play here. So with 2 ranges up, you could and should go aggressive, but you could also use those archers to defend the resources at home and make sure you have that gold access for continued production. Looks like he's leaving space for a couple of ranges to go up here as well. As Obi-Wan has placed the mill, gone quite heavy on the berries over here. I think these guys might be going to gold, depending on what the plan is here. Blacksmith market, okay. So, selling stone, buying food to go up, perhaps. Monk siege push. But, maybe, but against the Teutons, maybe not ideal. Don't know what that's supposed to mean. Hope it's nothing serious. Did indeed gift a scout to the TC. There's a ritual sacrifice, you know, to survive the on upcoming fights. We'll see if it works for them though. Late feudal ages here for See You in Hell. I guess Mad Max is going straight past castle, seeded quite a few farms here. Does not have horse collar in, even though that's possible to research early, so it feels like a little bit of a misplay here, but also shouldn't really have any issues clicking the castle age here. We'll see once the feudal age kicks in. Yeah, a bit low on the gold, but 3 villagers on gold, that's going to be cranking up to 200 gold in no time, so that's not of concern. The Hunnic scouts are out, picking off an archer for free here of Scorpison. Could, in theory, get the villager as well. Have to dodge that spear. The Japanese spearmen, they attack faster. Hunt's stables work 20% faster as well, so that's going to benefit any stables of the Saracens at any point as well, if the Saracens go into some kind of cavalry. Archers out from Lions. It's so backwards to see the Lions playing archers from pocket and Hunts playing the scouts from flank, but it's either a mistake in the beginning of the game or just to up the combat volume a bit here. Might need to adjust that in-game for that to work. Anyway, 2 vs 1 version here from Portupals. They're doing decent here. Mad Max sending some spearmen over. It's not really going to do too much, considering that there are archers here to pick them off. Not a lot of Mayans archers here, though. 8 archers total, but they're not collected. So you have to be a little bit careful around here. Oh, let's just crank it up a little bit. No, actually, not well. Yeah, that seems a little bit better. So war game after all. We want to hear the war sounds. So scouts leaving the archers alone, not necessarily ideal that, but also the perfect point to start harassing the pocket Mad Max a bit here, because he's pulling off the fast castle. Only got double bit axe in here, so didn't go for the early eco upgrades. The Burgundian player here. And I guess we have more scouts streaming in for the hunt. So double stables, extended feudal age here. That's what I'd like to see, not that Lombardia slow as shit. Nice feudal age aggression here, extended feudal age from the hunt's flank, not pocket. So it's a bit backwards, but it's working, isn't it? Decently. It's giving. Yeah, just giving the Portapals an eco leader. Saracen's player gone for some camels as well, as an anticipation of the Teutons and Burgundians cavalry play here. Saracen's camels more hit points in the Castle Age. When Bloodlines kicks in, the Saracen's camels will have 130 hit points, highest hit points camels in the game currently, in the Castle Age, mind you. Resources are there for Combat Wombat to click to the next age, missing the second building, missing the blacksmith, for example, so no upgrades whatsoever on the scouts, but the numbers certainly have been consistent. It's 7 scouts now. Also the archers of Ignite Fire here denying this town center from the Burgundians. That's huge value from Portapals, and that particular denial there. Also taking off gold, denying gold off the Burgundians here means that the Burgundians player cannot field the knights as planned. We'll have to rely on market abuse or use to get those units out. Also found an opening here now, so the scouts are in. They're going to get some serious value here now, as Mad Max can't really make any army to keep these units out. Might consider making some spearmen, but what's that going to do when there are archers here as well? And they're staying next to this town center so that the defensive function of the town center won't really work out. That would have looked better on the gold outside there, but easier said than done when there are armies in moving around like this. Is a great aggression for Portapals on CU and Hell's side. They're now approaching the Castle Age, the 2 other players as well, so they've bought a lot of time with this engagement there. 11 villagers down for the Burgundians play, 18 villagers only for Mad Max here. Horrible position to be in for the pocket, whereas the Mayan's pocket of Portapals is queuing or making 2 more ranges here, going to double up on that archer's production and get to the crossbows soon enough. Seems to be a little bit short of gold, so we'll need more gold to keep all of these ranges producing. While on top side we have quite a chunk of Teuton's pikemen here from the Teuton's player. No upgrades on the pikes though, so but it's camels, and the pikes have how much against camels? Pretty decent bonus damage against camels, so Obi-Wan can't really engage here. I'm surprised to see Obi-Wan playing mainly the camels here though. Crossbows will still be doing great against Teuton's crossbow arbalest. That's like one of the things that Teutons struggle more to deal with. Flare over at the other side, and that's Obi-Wan signalizing he's under attack. No ranged units here to support the Teutons though, until the siege workshop completes, so the aggression should be... Oh, could trap them even with a little stone wall foundation over here, but isn't with any villagers close enough to do that currently. Yeah, Burgundy's cavalry production really lacking here now. Got 2 town centers up, got 2 town centers producing, but what we really need here from CU and Hill from the pocket is military. Although Matthias is making a decent effort at pushing here, going to add some rams. Might have benefits from some ranged siege weapons here as well, either mangonels or scorpions. Skirmishers added here from the Saracens. Why not crossbows, archers, crossbows? So is this the gold situation? Is it a wood situation? Nah, not really. Don't understand the skirmisher situation here. Although the skirmishers have bonus damage against pikes, so that might be the thinking here, but the skirmishers also have minimum range, something the archers line units don't. Nice mangled shot there from Matthias. It's a bit of a 2 vs 1 situation here, though. Crossbows from Mines. Oh, that might be why Obi-Wan isn't going for the crossbows, because the mines will be anyway. Top side, pushing with pikes and crossbow skirms here from Scorpion with the Japanese as well. Are CU and Hill going to turn this around? They are still behind in the economy, especially because of the Burgundian's pocket, or mainly because of the Burgundian's pocket. But they all have multiple town centers at this point, so if they keep consistent villager production behind it, they might have a way back into it here. Town center going up for the Burgundians. It's only Boso lacking all of the farm upgrades. That's going to backfire with all these farms needing reseeding soon. And Scorpison not really finding eco kills here, but now being joined by Burgundians cavalry. Getting the upgrades in for the cavalry units as well. Some decent raids going on here now on the left hand side on the Huns player, currently left alone, but doubling up on the nice production in 3 stables. Is the +2 in? Not yet, so maybe it's not really safe to engage. Thanks for the follow, Rascal. Stable about to go down here. You'd think Sigurd Hell had Saracens, because there's mainly been crossbows and pikes engaging here. Nice production not happening for Combat Wombat here. So the gold issue 15 gold now, just not producing a improved economy. Maybe been idled by the pressure, or just not at the level it should be. Real far away DC from Matthias. Probably safe from raids, because they won't be scouting that area anytime soon. Or will they? There's a scout over here. Pretty even in the military situation here now. It's still a slight economic lead for Portupals, and they are keeping it with the consistent villager production going on behind all of this. It's yeah, multiple town centers for all the players at this point. Mines player sending crossbows to both sides here. Now thinking about some eagles to get some mobility going from home base from the Mayans as well. Eagles should at least trade very well against the crossbows, and there aren't really that many knights to worry about here, so eagles make sense. And the eagles addition makes sense at this stage in the game. Hounds, cavalry, outnumbering the Burgundians comfortably here, but Portupals is with pressure on both sides now Forcing a defensive castle of Obi-Wan. Will the villagers be able to complete that? If this castle goes up, Obi-Wan is in a good spot because the siege push won't be working at all anymore, but he seems massively outnumbered here. He is being joined by some Mayans cavalry here, maybe with clutch timing here. One villager now building the castle, but more villagers. Yeah, this castle needs to go up. House foundation here, make it harder for the units of the Teutons player to engage here, and that should be going up. Still some mangonels to worry about though, and that's something the crossbows definitely should worry about as well. Ooh, more villagers going down. This is going to be a costly castle for Obi-Wan, but it's at 73 villagers. Definitely still can afford to lose a few, even with the pressure of the Teutons here. So many villagers going down low. 15 villagers lost, but the castle goes up. Puts a stopper to the forward siege pressure here. Good castle from Obi-Wan's Tinder account, even if it costs a lot of villagers' lives here. Now, effectively delaying the Teutons push quite a bit here. Mayans ready to go to Imperial Age here. Let's see if they are able to do so. Two situation over here, but who is gonna get the better trades here? Let's have a look at the upgrades. It's lacking for yeah, it's better upgrades for the Cavaliers here, so they should be trading better even in slightly lower numbers here. And there are more in the queue, more in the making that could join in over on the left hand side here for See You in Hell. They're sort of stuck at this spot here, but that also prevents Teal from pushing into Scorpions on side, so you can see the economy is extending nicely here for the Japanese civilization player. Lomim looks just for the fun of it here, and the crossbows healing up for the Mayans over here. They need to start pushing though. Are we going to see, I mean, Imperial Age well on the way for Ignite Fire here. Elite Eagle Warriors comes to mind, but their forward castle does as well. Could be going up here for the Mayans, and then you could deal with the Teuton's defensive castle and start pushing in over here. Depending on how well Combat Wombat will be able to hold the 2 vs 1 over at this side. However, it's about to become a 2 vs 1 because there are barely any crossbows left here of the green player. That's Imperial Age for the Mayans, which means Arbalest will also be an option. The Huns villager population is very nice behind all this, so Combat Wombat should be able to, well, has definitely a safe gold access here. Maybe Tarkans is the play here. There aren't any pikemen anymore, so if you get like 10 Tarkans out here, you should, and you already have the cavalry upgrades in to some extent, you might be able to clean up the crossbows with Tarkans here, as long as there aren't any Burgundians Cavalier meddling in, but they currently are not. El Dorado coming in. No Eagles currently on the field, but barracks ready to produce. So look at the gold. Definitely also got in the bank. The food situation a little bit more worrying, but I guess you could just buy a little bit of food because the Eagles are costing more gold than food anyway. Where's that +2 for the Knights though? It's been missing for so long for the Combat Wombat. Has been taking unnecessarily bad fights because of that lacking upgrade. Trying everything here. Mangonels against the crossbowmas and monks against the Cavaliers, but they have Teutons on the team, which means that the conversion resistance will be higher. Holy Teutonic range. What's with this? Why are they making Korean cavalry and Teutons ranged units? I don't understand, but this could be hand cannoneers against the Eagles, I guess. They're fearing the Eagles. So with Imperial Age in here. It's the crossbows though. Teutons don't get arbalists. What's the crossbows going to do here? If it was hand cannoneers, I would be on board. That would be very nice against the Eagles. But crossbows... Nah-uh. Nah-uh. Teutons don't even get Razor. Crossbow does not make sense here. Especially not with so many skirmishers out for blue as well. Defensive castle for the Huns over to the side, going to make raids increasingly difficult on the left hand side for Portupals. Imperial Age in for the Japanese, so this is the time to engage against the crossbows, of course. Combat wombats can't know that, and might as well just wait for Cavalier Paladin as well. Imperial Age now in for Obi-Wan as well. All the players in the Imperial Age now. Trebuchet lead for the Teutons player though. And let's see if they'll be able to keep these castles at crossbows. Still insisting on the crossbows. Why the Teutons crossbows? Why? Sneak stables to the right. I can dig that. Imperial scouts from the Teutons. Lacking defense upgrades here as well. Only one defense, I guess it's the 3 melee defense still, since you're the Teutons, and still going to be an annoyance that has to be dealt with, but get your blacksmith upgrades, people. It's going to save lives, literally. More and more town centers going up here. 7 town centers for the Huns. Bit on the verge of overboom here again for the combat wombat. Definitely shouldn't be queuing more villagers, but isn't queuing more villagers either, because it's pop capped. Cavalier coming in. And is Paladin affordable yet? Could sell food or sell wood and then buy Paladin as well. Certainly an option. All the Eagles pulling back now to deal with the weak-ass Teutonic scouts. I don't think that's necessary, to be honest. And funnily enough, the scouts are, even without husbandry, because Teutons don't get that, they are fast. Faster than the elite eagles at 143, which is also beastly fast for an infantry unit. I guess the brains are working out decently. Still missing lots of defense upgrades here, so that's something that needs to be attended to. Paladin in for the Burgundians, but that's the case for the Huns very soon as well, and the Huns seem to have matching numbers, which means with bloodlines the Huns will be trading better if they ever make it over to that side. There are some Burgundians Paladins over here as well. There should be no back for the Hunnic ones here. Not really enough halberdiers here to pose a threat. I wonder if Combat Wombat knows that the Huns don't get Onager, because 3 Mangonels, they won't be doing match against Harvest. Had they been Onagers, you could have done match though, but not going to be the case here. They're being focused on by the Paladins. Full upgrades for them. Zealotry for Obi-Wan as well, so what's that again? Is it benefiting the monks or the camels? I forgot what that tech does overall. Trebuchets need to pull back here now. The Arbalest in this kind of mass could definitely take out Trebuchets quickly. But if the Paladins get us around on these Arbalest masses of Scorpion, that's also going to be concerned. Look at the raids of Matthias, so the scouts are doing work. Yeah. 83 eco kills, and what does it matter? Portupal still with a... Wait, they're with the military lead, not with the eco lead. Military lead, okay, it's working, definitely working. Giving CU in hell the eco lead. On the castle for the Huns. Again, I'd say maybe get a unique technology from the castle and start producing Tarkans, because there aren't really that many Burgundians, Paladins to worry about at this point. If you mix in Tarkans here and go and make sure that the Italians player can't... Yeah, he doesn't really have economy to pump out huge amounts of halberdiers here. So Tarkans would definitely be the play here against this massive arbalest. Would be Paladins are fine, but Tarkans would withstand a lot more arbalest shots. Elite Eagle numbers increasing rapidly as well. 74 of them now out and about. That's not numbers to be joking around with. It's a hustling play against the Teutons, but given the state of the game currently, not too much the Teutons player can do about this. Still lacking the cavalry upgrades for the Paladins as well. Only one defense, which means that the Eagles, with their modest bonus damage against cavalry, will still be trading very well against even Teuton cavaliers here. I guess that castle over here got denied after all, but not a big deal. Combat Wombat will still be able to push on this side. Are we getting gold issues? Nope, we're not. Not producing more paladins here, even with lots of food and gold in the bank. But the eagle raids, they are going to be an annoyance here now. That's going to... yeah. Portapals now giving Siugenhel the same treatment that Matthias gave them with the scouts raids not too long ago. Stonewall's up as well. This is the only passage point currently, and building foundations are going up here to make pathing increasingly difficult here. These are Eldorado Eagles as well, so you're not messing around with those. They have more hit points than your generic Eagles. They are eating town centers like Huang Mangonels. Decent chunk of camels here from Obi-Wan as well, so the Teuton's Paladin investment won't necessarily make too much of a difference here. Besides, they are lacking the upgrades, so the camels will trade amazingly against Teuton's cavalry at this stage. But why are the camels moving back? They need to be here. They need to be here now. Suppose it doesn't matter as much, because Combat Wombat has been able to withstand the 2 vs 1 and 1 vs 1 over on this side, while the Eldorado Eagles have obliterated what used to be the starting base of Matthias KF, and it goes to a 2-1 for Portapals then. Sending us to see you in Hell's map next. And why? They always take those that extra minute to resign, I don't know. Maybe it's just that won that fight or something that people want to take. So, browsing to the stats here is a 2-1 now for Portapals, match point. If they win one more, they have the game or the set. Massive KD dominance here for the Mayans, but also a good one, decent one. Lost a lot of units, yes, but that's a lot of scouts going down for... Yeah, they don't mean much, right? Highest army high for the Mayans here, with both eagles and crossbows and all that. Did they ever actually make a castle? Yeah, they did make one castle because the unique technology was researched. But plumed archers doesn't seem to have been something that crossed their mind here. It was never quite the plan. So enclosed goes into Portupal's hands, which means they're fresh out of home maps here. It's going to be Arabia or El Dorado next, but we already know El Dorado is the last one, so let's mark the civilizations used again here. Japanese going down, Burgundians going down, and Teutons going down. While we have the Saracens, Lions, and Lions pocket, mind you. Maybe because of the Eagles play in the end. And what was the last one again here? Huts. So probably Arabia coming up then. Let's have a look at that. Franks, Vikings, Vietnamese would be my guess here. As for Portugals, Hindustanis to counter the Franks. We could see some Goth shenanigans on the side, but I think it's going to be Hindustanis, Mongols, Chinese, or Hindustanis, Dravidians, Chinese, or something like that. Let's just pop right into it. To the game 4. Audience for Arabia, okay. Here we are then. Season 4 Arabia. This is the Nations Cup Arabia generation, basically. Nations Cup Arabia map script. Scorpion with the Vikings flank here, so I called that one. Right, could mean an infantry opening here with, for example, the men at arms, because the Vikings get extra hit points starting in the feudal age, 20% extra for the infantry. Or could just be straight archers, because Vikings have amazing economy with their instant wheelbow and handcart. Pocket, Franks as suspected from Matthias here. Scouts into Knights, Cavalier, Paladin, almost certainly. And we have Mad Max with the Byzantines flank here, which also decent flank civilization. Cheap counter units if you need to go into them, and these teams, they seem to love skirmishers to defend, even in team games where there's basically always cavalry at work. So that might come in handy to defend a 1v1 versus the opposing flank, if need be. Going for a straggler first, going to drop a lumber cab soon enough, I'm sure. Unless there's some wicked plans at work here, requiring stragglers. That's an early loom as well, maybe a little bit off on the food count. Now for Portupals, we have a Malian's flank. Also screams infantry opening to me. Perhaps the men at arms Malians get +1 pierce armor per age for the infantry line units. So we'll see what they make of that. But since the Malians buildings cost 15% less wood, you also have a smooth, straight double range archers flank build at your hands if you feel like it. In the pocket position, we have the Mongols. Mongols pocket! That's not nearly as common, but at least the Mongols with their 40% faster hunt gets to produce, well, gets to go up more quickly and get to the scouts earlier. So that might be the play here, and early scouts, and then follow up with some cavalry in the castage, and eventually get to the Mangudai. Thanks for the follow, Serenata. Appreciate it. Now the flank on the right hand side really far away here. Hindustani's flank. Did I mess up the positions again or what? Hindustani's would have made a lot more sense in the pocket, but maybe they're just playing their favorite civilizations and don't mind much in the positioning. By the way, Hindustanis giving the scouts bonus, or scouts and camels get bonus attacking against buildings for the yeah, Hindustanis is a team bonus, so it's easier to break through buildings and palisade walls with the scouts in the early game with a Hindustani ally. I suppose we might see double scouts here then, like Mongols and Hindustani scouts here, like we saw in the first game today. Lots of scouts at work for Lombardia. That horrible map. more being brought in as well. Let's have a look at the scouting of the players here. Ooh, how strict to keep the villager from dying to the boar. Nice. Decent scouting. Let's have a look at the Mongols team as well. Getting extra line of sight of the scout, always handy. About to move out to have a look at what's up on the opposing side here now. No early barracks, so no rushes or anything. But the barracks going up for Obi-Wan's Tinder account now, and the timing of that does indeed suggest a men-at-arms opening for the Malians, also on gold here with one villager. Going to send the second one here. Get blue, get up. 21 population men-at-arms for the Malians. Surprisingly tough to deal with early on because they withstand some ranged damage more than generic men-at-arms. Oh, I was going to ask if Mad Max got lane, but maybe it's just forgotten about the boar in the back here because it's getting he's milling the first boar. Seems to have also did not push in deer, just went completely bonkers on the sheep underneath the TC unless the sheep got lane. But I don't think so. Alright, so what's the plan here? Portugal's significantly earlier appears, even held with 2 players, not quite up just yet. Matthias Cave, is he going straight fast cast late here? Franks is going quite heavy on the walling. That's dangerous, you could hop through the palisade. Send the builder forward, drop it, place a building. But looks like the walls will complete before there's any proper danger here. There's some very ambitious walling here for Seawind Hill. They are actually going to go for an early full team wall here. By the looks of it. As the Malians player has men-at-arms popping in, but will they be able to do damage here? There's definitely... It has to be a hole, right? That's a hole. That has to be a hole. Well, at least the walls get denied, so the men-at-arms will make it in. Barracks not quite completing as the yellow scout is being sent to at least chase away the blue scout here, but now the men-at-arms are in as well. Unfortunately, the lion is chasing them as well. Could be another villager kill here, and more importantly, the barracks could get denied. A little bit lucky of Obi-Wan to spot that, but nevertheless, the barracks needs to go up elsewhere, and Mad Max is subject to some serious aggression here from Portugal's side. .27 population for Franks. This is a straight cast late. This could be a massive switch of power to see you in hell if the Franks player is allowed to get straight to the cast age, no scouts whatsoever. As long as the teammates survive the aggression, just a few early cast age knights from the Franks can do so much damage given the openness of both Greens and Teal's home bases here now. It's stable for the combat wombat. It's probably stable for the Mongols as well. Indeed it is. Archers follow up here for the Malians as well, so Mad Max definitely taking a beating here. The woodland is quite exposed as well, so that is a concern. Oh, there's a couple of sheep there. That could be why Mad Max struggled for food earlier. Gold completely denied. Defensive tower now forced up, but Ignite Fire with the scouts here as well to Further assist the aggression is 2 versus 1 situation against the purple player. However, Matthias, I was going to say is on the way to the cancellation, but he's actually not. So 5 on gold, he's got 4 farms up, and I have no idea what's going on there. This looked like a straight Castle Age build, but it's not working out that way. Yeah, that barracks foundation can just stay there because the barracks is up over here anyway. Stable now for the Byzantines. Why the stable? Byzantine scouts hardly the play here. Maybe range and skirmishes would have made more sense. Could be needs to get some scouts out to maybe snipe and catch the men-at-arms off guard, but the Malians player keeps good control of the armies here, so no reason to worry too much about that. Scorpion is pushing on the Hindustani side here, or actually trying to break back out here. So definitely exposed the economy to hit here, like the Woodland to see. Doesn't really have that much scouting on the economy of Teal. Made an opening, maybe it's just for the reinforcements to enter. Good reaction here from Combat Wombat, rushing up those houses to limit the aggression potential, but it's not close enough for the town center fire to range these units, so Scorpion is still going to get good trades here. No fletching in just yet, but there are spearmen here protecting the archers, so these scouts might not be able to do enough here. Scouts everywhere. Double stables for Combat Wombat, going to stay Feudal Age for quite a while longer here. 19 farms should be enough to keep both town center and scouts working, but now going heavy to gold here, maybe realizing that, oh, I need to get to the Castle Age soon. They might be on the way up. Byzantine player somehow managed to get to the next age here, only lost 4 villagers to what was pretty decent aggression from the opponents, and that's probably why Matthias is lagging behind here as well. Added some spearmen and archers of all things from home base to help defend the teammate. So what looked like a straight fast castle build from Matthias was adapted to Feudal Age defense, and CU and Hell still keeping up here. They have the military momentum and they're only 15 villagers behind. Scouts ready to engage here, need to focus on the spears, but that shouldn't be an issue. Defense is in as well, these archers are in trouble. One of the spearmen are weak, as long as you just focus them down, that's fine. Easier said than done in a cluster like this. They're stacking up, but that shouldn't matter if the spears can be dealt with. Where are the rest of the red spears? They're over here, so another wave of archers moving in. Lumber cap going down for Teal, just make sure the surround can be... Okay, that's a good trade for the scouts. Good trade. And Scorpion decides to pull away, but this should also be happy with the aggression and the damage done here. Yes, still in the Feudal Age, but that's the case for Combat Wombat as well. And resource-wise, Scorpion is actually closer to the next age. Looks like we're going to get another surround though, if Green and Teal are on point here. So again, they need to focus the Spearman down, get the surround, and clean up this archer mass. Again, the Scorpion about to lose 9 archers here, and the spears will lead to remass the units, and... Teal doesn't commit, actually realizes that might not be that good of a fight after all. Second town center up for the Byzantines over here. While the Franks, Feudal Age armies are punching through at the Mongols' pocket side here. Ready to try and get some raids and some damage in on the... now somewhat exposed pocket and somewhat exposed green economy here. Those are expendable units at this point, to be honest. The spears need to come closer just to keep the Hindustani scouts out, but forcing Portugal's armies to stay at home now. Let's see if this cluster army from Matthias can do any proper damage here. Still only one stable at home base. But successfully idling some quite a bit on the Mongols' farming economy here now as well, so that should obstruct the early knights or camels production of the Mongols here. Scorpion back at it again as well, now halfway to the castle age, pulling the spears and archers back home now and pending the crossbow upgrade. See you in hell with 50 military to Portugal's 38 now, and they've withstood the early pressure nicely. And are ready to strike back in the castle age and play the long game. Knights now pouring in for the flanks as well. 2 ranges and 2 stables for Ignite Fire. How are you going to sustain all this production with only 3 on gold? That's the concern here. We have the market, so we could tweak the resources a little bit, but there's not really that much resource in the bank. Not sure what the plan is here. The ranges would indicate some cavalry archer play perhaps, but the 2 stables, what's that going to be then? Malian's infantry at work here, 13 long swords, but they're being pulled to the Mongols' home base to defend here rather than going on the aggressive side. Malian's infantry also going to struggle against the Byzantines long term, because Byzantines have the unique unit Cataphract to deal with those kinds of things. Now Scorpion joining in as well. If they'd coordinated where to break through, because Scorpion could be in already. He's got the crossbows now, so he's going to pound through the palisades regardless of that, and they are set with a slightly higher number of units here. Those are Malian's long swords though, and they have +2 defense, so they are harder to take out for crossbows than it looks like. So taking the heal for the blue crossbows here, not bad at all. Getting some bonus damage output from the heal there. Now the long swords in front to act as a meat shield. As you can see, no ballistics in just yet for Scorpion. Castle Age now in for the Hindustan as well. Did lose 10 villagers to Scorpion's rushes, but should now be able to provide camels most likely. Yeah, a little bit low on the food, but definitely able to supply units for the team again now. What's with Matthias and these random forward DCs? Did that one enclosed as well, I think, in the corner of the map. But making good use of the forward units, I guess. 3 forward stables for the Franks now, making it a lot easier for cavalry reinforcements to join in. Also a forward siege workshop. Imperial Age, Franks have access to bombard cannons as well, so that could be produced if you have chemistry in. But yeah, could make mangonels or battering ramps to get through the walls as well. Byzantines mainly in boom mode over here. Added some camels as well. They are cheaper for the Byzantines, but looks like the long-term plan is cataphracts here because the stone investment is happening. Could also be for an earlier Imperial Age and to get trebuchets out, but cataphracts against the Malians, longsword investment, that's a no-brainer for the Byzantines over here. Light cab from the Hindustanis now, upgrading the straight scouts, but look at the quick walling from Scorpion here. not allowing any light cav to enter here, and they wouldn't be able to anyway, because it's walled off nicely here at home base for the Vikings. Also, the Byzantine camels are here to aid in the fights, and this should be an easy cleanup for See You in Hell. Marginal military advantage, convincing eco advantage. 20 more villagers. That guy moving in again. Looking for a place to enter, not going to be allowed to. Also lacking upgrades here. The defense for the light cap, lacking the +2 attack, lacking the +2 defense. Not ideal for raiding, not to not have that second defense. All players placing castles here. So some proper forward aggression from Obi-Wan's Tinder account over here. However, doesn't seem too smart against the Byzantines here. Byzantines building some more hit points, and it's very likely with the cheaper Imperial Age for the Byzantines that the Byzantines player will be up earlier as well. So that a trebuchet war would be effectively hard for Malians to win. I guess not though, going up to the Imperial Age earlier here. Bad news for the Byzantines, but that kick shouldn't be too far away unless Mad Max just cancels some villagers and idle now and get that, I guess. Cavalry archers from the Mongols, as expected, as sort of a transitionary means to get to the Mangadai long term. Don't think they have the best of trades here though. Those are light cav for the most part. No camels whatsoever from the combat wombat. Look at all the gold in the bank. Why so many light cav? I guess because they don't cost gold and they have decent armor with a +2 against ranged units, but they're useless against pikes as well, so it's a bit concerning not to have any camels at this point from the Hindustanis player. Here goes the first castle for the Mongols. So we are going to see some Mangadai out on the field soon. The Franks player has 5 very much forward stables here. All Portupals can see is the siege workshop, so the scouting is a little bit lacking here. Maybe they're not expecting it, this sneaky forward base of the Franks here, and that's an interesting town center, but it's going to support some farms, I guess. Rams are out. Imperial Age is in, so we have the trebuchet in the queue as well. It does take a long time to take out Byzantine's castles though, because they have more hit points. And Mad Max is afraid to lose the base here already, moving to the top side to get a couple of TCs, preparing the reboom just in case the Malians player is able to punch through here. 50 military for the Malians, only 27 for the Byzantines, but the camels are here. They're not going to do too much against the crossbows, possibly arbalests of the... It's not that many of them actually, it's mainly infantry, so what Mad Max needs here is the cataphracts really. Imperial Age on the way as well. Second trebuchet being queued by Oberon, so Mad Max will need to keep this castle up, repair it, and hope to get enough siege weapons out to handle the Malians' push over here. Scorpius on the Matthias moving over to help on the flank side. Maybe they should be hitting the pocket instead. Or the blue player. Okay, they're flaring inside blue space, so they're taking advantage of the fact that blue is with all the army forward with its castle and this push. They might be able to do... If they're able to break through here, they will be doing great damage to the Malians player. If they work together as well. Forward castle, love to see that. Resource situation not quite allowing Franks to go to the next age yet, but some siege weapons are out. Knights numbers pretty decent. Crossbows here to deny the quick walling behind for the Malians as well. So this means that Obi-Wan might need to move back home here. Only if Geppetto going back there could be to try to deny the castle, but when or if this castle completes, it's only a matter of time until Matthias and Scorpion can enter and do some proper damage to the Malians' home base here. In the meantime, Mad Max just repairing the castle, keeping the aggression out that way. We'll need to task more villagers, might need to mine more stone. No, not yet. Definitely needs more villagers repairing, because there are 2 trebuchets pushing now. Imperial Age just 10 seconds away, but this castle is about to go down. There's a little bit of elevation advantage for this trebuchet as well. Oh, send more villagers! Send more villagers to repair. This castle will be going down. So close. So close. It's down. It's down. It's down. It's down. Ooh, bad news for Mad Max that we'll need to stonewall again here to keep the aggression out, I guess. But forward castle of the Franks goes up. Not sure what the ranges are about. Maybe we'll see some Franks crossbows this time. But nice point of refuge here. Arbalest is in for Scorpion with the Vikings as well. Combat Wombat making camels now, but just click the Imperial Age. So won't be able to help match here on the Malian side. Imperial Age also on the way for the Franks, but still a while away. I think this army will have a better push than the Malian Champs Guards over here, even though there aren't any cataphracts to deal with this. Mad Max has moved away and has already got a reboom going up in the north, so it's only a matter of finding a response to the Champs Guards over here at this point for Obi-Wan. Cavalry archers going down for the Mongols. Imperial Age, yes, on the way. No Magadai just yet. Only one, well, 2 Translators, but only one producing. Stone situation not allowing for castles. More Franks reinforcements to enter here as well, as we have a castle going up in the middle of the Malians base now. Yes, the Mad Max, the business player, will likely go... Are we missing upgrades here or something? Why are the heavy camels trading so well against the champions? Color me confused, but Mad Max is holding with heavy camels here on the Byzantines. Even without the full upgrades, it's managing to clean up the masked champions here somehow. Imperial Age for Ignite Fire, so the Mongols player now up to the Imperial Age as well. Not going to give all that much. With this uptime, another Franks castle going up, and Imperial Age in, going to get Cavaliers on the way now. Also getting some infantry defense upgrades for reasons unknown to me, but could be a long-term investment for Pikeman Halberdier defense. Defensive castle for the Mongols now, but this is not the time to be defensive. You need to get counter raids in. Franks castles on either side, and Matthias is playing a masterful Franks pocket here, and now a Another attempt at a forward castle for Obi-Wan here. Has a decent chunk of pikemen and champions here, but the heavy camels should still be able to hold that off, maybe. Some stinging going on here as well. Scorpion stinging Mad Max to... yeah, to get the reboom. Rolling more efficiently. Yeah, it's to get the cataphracts, I think. It's to get the cataphracts. Since the castle is up in the back here. That castle isn't really a threat at this point. You just bring some trebuchets from the back here with defensive units to accompany it, I suppose. I don't think Geppettos would be the answer to cataphracts either. Some pushing into the combat's base here, idling a lot of economy, I suppose. 42 villagers down. One of these guys, Gulams, that's a good call against both pikes and arbalets, to be honest. It's like a budget eagle warrior in a sense for the Hindustanis. Probably the best unit combat wombat can make at this point, but still being pushed heavily here. Just a couple of Franks trebuchets out. All three in one castle, unfortunately. But yeah, still that castle should be quite short-lived for the Hindustanis player. Obi-Wan is gaining terrain here, but not enough to offset the economic advantage that CU and Hell have here. They're about 100 eco units ahead, and they have the military domination as well. And have a look at the Malian's home base here. Everything is going down here for Obi-Wan. Is losing so many villagers. Is trying to like relocate and re-establish economy up north, which is wise, considering the situation at Obi-Wan's side. Shouldn't be able to take out this castle. I'm surprised we aren't seeing any cataphracts yet, but it could be a gold issue. Heavy camels definitely not trading well anymore. Now 3 trebs to deal with this Hindustanis castle, no problem as well. 3k score a lead for CU in Hell. Trebuchets left and right here, Scorpion pushing as well, and what used to be the Malian's home base is now all but extinct. And the Franks Paladins are in as well, the highest hit points Paladins in the game. These defensive castles should be short-lived for sure, and nothing's to stop the Frank players to keep pushing into Obi-Wan's relocated economy map here. Stealing some farms over here close to the castle. Could also try and steal some of these farms off Mad Max, because if Mad Max isn't paying attention, then that's an easy way to replenish some of your economy at a low cost. Someone managed to get that Byzantine castle down. It's full on trash now for Mad Max, because it does now gold access. Obviously, Halberdiers won't be trading well against the champions, but it's all about just keeping the blue player busy now and allow the teammates to deal with the other side instead. So Malians actually not looking too bad here. 80 eco, 74 military, still got that military push going. The Mongols' pocket has been left untouched for a long while. Got 3 castles up, but still committing to the cavalry archers for reasons unknown. But it's heavy cavalry archers, so that might be why. They fire faster as the Mongols. Franks paladins over here, but there are just a few pikemen. So these trebuchets will be going down. I guess with enough paladins over here, the champions should be cleaned up once again as well. Oh, Blues situation not looking too pretty here. Not much left of the starting base. GG is called. I think we're going to a game 5 here. Currently 2-2 between these two, and as you can see, the Hindustanis player pretty much out of the equation here. Mongols not that dangerous late game until they get that deadly amount of elite Magadai and some drilled siege weapons, but they also lost quite a bit of eco units at some point there. Malians lost basically all the economy in the Hindustanis as well, so great recovery, great hold, and great pushback from the team. See you in hell here. Yeah, Scorpius are arguably man of the match here with the Franks as well, doing work there. Byzantines, Mad Max just holding and surviving, and that was enough to give Hell the game. Fantastic economy in the Franks, barely lost any villagers this game, even with that forward base over there and castles everywhere, just manifesting the map with stationary structures. So that would be the Vikings, Franks, and Byzantines taking that one. Hindustanis, as expected for Arabia, but went down. Malians, good early aggression, didn't do enough damage. Mongols pocket, that's an odd pick for me, but also didn't work out for them as planned by the looks of it. That would be a home map for See You in Hell. So it leaves us with El Dorado to end it. I'm curious to see how that one plays out. We're left with some Bohemians with their late game deadliness. Harvesting gold and stone faster as well. Slavs with the unique technology to get cheaper castle zapped, also to claim the middle, perhaps. And Aztecs for eagles, monks. Could also see the Vietnamese going for some good range units there. Goths probably going to try and survive and boom into the late game infantry spam. Lots of so-called infantry civilizations here, in fact. So it would be fun to see Goths, Bulgarians, and Chinese, for example. But let's see what they bring us for El Dorado. Last and deciding game. Which should have been the first map, but who am I to judge? Chinese, Dravidians, Aztecs. Let's have a look here. Scorpion in the red with Aztecs. Aztecs carry 3 more resources per trip. You actually need to pull the builders out to the edge here to be able to build, because you can't build on the shallows around your TC. But in exchange, you have Shorefish right next to your town center, and Shorefish is, aside from Mongols Hunt, with a bonus. It's the fastest food income in the game. In the pocket, we had Matthias as the Slavs. Has been playing some good pocket or cavalry style. Has had some good pocket cavalry style performances so far. With the Slavs, also will be able to get to the Bowyars, perhaps. Unique unit, a good substitute for the Slavs that don't get Paladin, but they also get Knights and Paladins and cheaper siege weapons, so they have things going on for them. El Dorado. This is the El Dorado. It's lots of gold and stone in the middle. There's also an incentive to dock the far side, because there's actually lots of deep fish here. So if you dock the corners specifically, you should have access to some decent deep fish. We'll see if the players go for that. It's a bit of a travel to get there, but it'll also boost the early game economy. Vietnamese for Mad Max, which means that they will know the location of the opponent's town centers. Seems like this map has somewhat fixed positions, and you could just scout for the shallows, and you should be fine. But yeah, so Mad Max knows his up against Dravidians, and Scorpion knows his up against Chinese at this point. Great map for Chinese, by the way, because Chinese always struggle with food to start, but given the Shorefish right next to the town center, the Chinese can just get right on the food production after, immediately with their starting 6 villagers, and as long as you force drop off some food, you should have an absolute minimum idle time. 38 seconds here though, so not ideal for combat wombat, but also not bad for a Chinese start. Still keeps a villager lead over the others, even with Loom, as Chinese always will get, almost always will get at the start of the game to keep the DC when towns are working, even though, since you can't queue villagers. Bulgarian's pocket this time around. These teams are just full of surprises, aren't they? Ignite fire with the Bulgarian's pocket. Instant infantry upgrades. Stops at 200 swordsmen. Do not get access to champion, but gets a unique technology Bagains for the Imperial Age that will give extra melee armor to the swordsman line units. So situational, but definitely an infantry civilization. No access to even crossbow for the Bulgarians, so they are forced to play either, well, either forever archers or just go into cavalry archers if they really want to play some ranged option, or scouts into knight cavalier or even some infantry style opening. Finally, Obi-Wan's Tinder account with the Dravidians here. 200 wood granted once you reach the next age. Something that could allow Obi-Wan to dock the sides smoothly, for example, but it also allows for double ranges and blacksmith more easily than most other civilizations to get an early fletching for your early archers. And then early fletching should be affordable here as well, with all of the shorefish and food you'll be with around your town center to open. Okay. Ignite fire here to block the border for, well, not border, lame from Scorpison, who's pulled away Teal's boar, but unsuccessfully, I might add. It's a little bit weakened though, so if you try to do the TC trick here as the Chinese, you might struggle to get the food off it. Going to the berries for the Aztecs? No. It's probably for the second building to go up here. Doesn't really need that mill at this point just yet. There's heaps of geese still to be eaten. Guess Scorpion will be going straight for the archers here. Didn't start collecting gold yet. The gold piles close to home base are also rather small and low, because it's about fighting for the middle here and the abundance of resources in the middle here. Are going up for combat wombat. Would be surprised to see anything else than double ranges here. Chinese could of course go scouts as well. It's heavy on the food here. Our yellow player also didn't go to gold yet. Has it scouted. But did not quite get to that just yet. Yeah, right. Sorry about the drop again. It's out of my hands. But we're back, thankfully. So the villagers were kicking in there. Ooh. That's an interesting approach for the Chinese, playing in the middle already with some towers here. I wonder if the middle is also always visible to everyone. I mean, I guess it's a means for Teal here to secure some gold for archers play at home. No. No sign of any archery range here. Bulgarians with the barracks up did lose one villager here, but also at 31 population here. So this is going to be straight for the castle age and maybe a longswords approach here. That would be interesting. Now just about to finish the boar as well. It could of course just be straight for the knights as well. You never know. It's a long distance to travel for the boar, but it should be fine. Market and oh, he's fishing actually. So party pals. Oh, that's where by the eco count is high. I didn't see the fish here, so that makes sense. Range in the middle. It's a reasonably good way to claim the middle and try and deny the others the resources. It's triple barracks, feudal age eagles for Scorpius on here. Not the worst approach ever, but the gold is rather scarce at home base, so that is of concern. Defense just not quite in yet, which means that the villagers can comfortably fight these eagles as well. No kills for Scorpius and pulling away until that defense kicks in. That's in now. Now you could engage again, but it's waiting for a couple more eagles. Triple barracks comfortably producing here. And playing this very open map to their advantage here. That's going to be one villager down for sure. Probably more. Somehow Combat Wombat keeps villagers alive, but obviously gets a lot of the economy idled as well. And it seems to be the only food source of the teal player, so teal is going to struggle big time for food once these berries are depleted, unless I'm missing something here. Definitely has wood for farms, but you can't farm around the DC, so you'll need to farm around the mill. Yeah, so much idle time here for teal. No income anymore for teal. Just struggling overall as the eagles are taking out the tower here as well. Combat Wombat seems completely incapacitated here, and Mad Max is here with some Vietnamese men-at-arms as well. I think Siuinhal has well prepared strategy at work here. Villagers now 5 villagers for Chinese. Goodbye Chinese advantage. Got the resources to get close to that next stage. Castle Age, by the way, for the slabs. So straight Castle Age for the pocket of See You in Hell. And going to claim that middle. In fact, we do have the Castle Age for the Dravidians as well. So 2 town centers at work here. But lacking military. Definitely decent damage done by See You in Hell here. Bulgarians playing the infantry, which I like to see, but they're lacking all of the upgrades. They should be quickly dealt with by the pocket cavalry of the yellow player here. First defense is in as well, so you withstand more hits. Yeah, by 10 men-at-arms just like that of Ignite Fire. And now the middle resources at risk of being taken down as well. Must be having Krepos in mind here with that massive stone investment going on here. Very exposed farming economy here as well. The eagle numbers, well, they are spreading out, so they're doing work, but they would maybe benefit more from being collected over here. Too bad the men-at-arms weren't around here to help against the eagle push. That could be why Ignite Fire is insisting upon the extended men-at-arms play as well. Already on the fish traps over here. There's still deep fish to be eaten, but maybe fishing on this map is a little bit overrated. At least at this stage of the game. Demolition Raft for Obi-Wan could get some nice hits in on the fishing ship's economy here. Eagles still doing work. Scouts fighting against them. No upgrades on the scouts, so the Eagles should be doing better here. They have full fuel age upgrades. Will more easily snipe villagers as well with that +1 attack. Resources for Castle Age also on the way here for, or on point here for Scorpion. We'll be running out of gold at home base in not too long, but now seems to be making the switch into archers or an addition of archers. Also, with Matthias TC over here, you could easily place a mining camp here as Scorpion and keep gold income rolling here. Yeah, great Knights raids here now. Only the Dravidians player in the cast station. Dravidians don't really have any great responses to Knights at this point. Maybe they'd have to add some spears or pikemen. But combat wombat taking a serious beating here. It's 30 villagers on there. Lost 70 villagers so far this game. Double stables, yes, but what's that going to do for you without any upgrades, especially with Knights on the field? We'll need something better to deal with this. All the farming economy now exposed. Trying to seed farms up top instead, but if this gets spotted by the Knights, that could also be taken out quickly. Scorpion is here with some archers as well, so if he moves closer here, we could either snipe some farms or just take out more villagers. Fletching is in, Castle Age is just around the corner as well, which means that crossbow might be an option here. Sell some food, get Bodkin crossbow. The early game lady villager is still out and about, so might be thinking about docking here and checking if they have some resources working on water. Dravidians player mainly booming, trying to get a town center up near the middle stones of golds here, but it's only a matter of time until Matthias gets another castle up, right? He even has enough stone for it, so a castle over here, and it's basically GG for gold access for Portugals. No more Eagles for the Aztecs, surprisingly enough. Maybe worried about the Bulgarians player going into infantry to withstand that. Walling off at home base here with stone walls, but it's not going to last you very long. It might buy some time, but the gold is going to be become a huge issue in not long for these guys. Is this town getting denied? Knights diving in there, archers on either side, villagers going down for Obi-Wan. Third town center on the gold, that's not going to complete, is it? Now the Knights could just stay here. Castle going up on the side as well. Decent castle would be even better over on this position, I think, or even here, if that's an option. Chasing the last few villagers as well. Let's see if Obi-Wan will open up here, or just let these villagers go down. Maybe that's a better call here, to not allow the Knights in to continue raiding. There are some weak spots here, though. You could break through here with the Knights. Only +1 defense, no attack upgrades, so the Knights will take some time to punch through. Now, Vietnamese elephants out now for Mad Max. Interesting, and instant reaction from Obi-Wan as well. Seeing the elephants with a double monstries could be a reaction to the Knights as well, to try and get some conversions in. But, oh, and the Dravidians battle elephants as well. Oh, they are no match for the Vietnamese one. The Vietnamese battle elephants, as the upgrades kick in, they're going to be so much better. They have bloodlines, they have a unique technology, making them even better. GG, good win, says Combat Wombat. And it was indeed a good last game for See You in Hell here. They seem to have a plan. They brought the set home to a 3-2 reverse sweep here, in fact, against Portugals. But in all fairness, this should have been the first map. So with that in mind, it could have actually played out completely same kind of score given the home map wins. So maybe it's not that huge of a difference. But the ban down in the map draft, that is to decide the first game map. That's just how it goes. Ridiculous KD here for the Slavs. Those relatively early Knights made a huge difference. We had the Dravidians up early as well, but that's just, they don't have anything to keep the Knights away. So at that point, so unfortunately not working out for Portugals this way. Best economy for Obi-Wan. Maybe he was thinking long term about elephant archers, which can be really hard to deal with in mass, but it takes a long while to get there. Long while. No villagers lost this game for CUL. Not a single eco unit lost. Looks like Matthias lost some fishing ships, but that's about it. Probably a demo hit from Blue. GG well played though, and congratulations to See You in Hell for winning the 8th division.